own a business, or regularly shop in downtown Millbrae?
Yes, I do. I live in Burlingame, but I come here often to shop.
How difficult is it currently for you to find parking downtown?
Not difficult, but I also don't park where it's super busy, so I don't mind walking a few blocks.
Do you think parking fees would make it easier, harder, or have no effect on finding parking downtown, and why?
I only think about it for older people. I mean, I personally don't have a big deal parking further away or paying for parking. I mean, it's not really an issue. Just like when Burlingame added their meters, it's fine for me. It's still cheaper. I mean, I go into the city a lot. It's still very affordable. So.
And what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
One thing I was going to say is, I don't know this new building that's come in here across from Trader Joe's, but this huge building I heard doesn't have any parking. So that is one thing I'm wondering if that will affect parking for this area and for people who like to shop here. I think if they don't have to have fees for parking, that would be great. I mean, we deal with it enough in the city and San Mateo even, so I prefer, that is one reason that I come to Millbrae. It's easy to park, so that's about it.
Question 1, how often do you visit downtown Millbrae?
Not very often, I'd say, no.
And how difficult is it currently for you to find parking downtown?
I get really lucky with my parking. I'd say not that hard.
So, do you think parking fees would make it easier, harder, or have no effect on finding parking downtown?
I think it would definitely make it harder if they were more expensive.
And if paid parking was introduced, what hourly rate would you consider to be reasonable?
I mean, people go to work hard. I mean, whatever they do down here to find parking. I mean, if it's too low, I'd ask for like $1.50 an hour. What would you say? Like, what would you say?
Somewhere around that margin, yeah.
Type shit.
What do you see as the biggest potential benefit and the biggest concern about paid parking downtown?
Benefit, of course, like, city gets a little bit of money, but like, not a benefit? Shit, I'd say like, maybe you don't know everyone's financial situation, so like maybe someone can't afford, like if they have to park their car, can't afford that $3, like $5 if they need the time. So you don't know anyone's situation. I'd say the people that can't afford it, of course, they're missing out. But I feel like if you are driving a car, I feel like you have enough money to just pay a little fee.
And finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
I would just want them to just hear the people. Like, are they listening to the people, or are they just self-centered with themselves, you know?
Do you live, work, own a business, or regularly shop in downtown Millbrae?
Yes.
And how difficult is it currently for you to find parking downtown?
It's pretty difficult already. It's quite crowded most of the time. So I think often I live close enough where I can just walk, because I prefer that rather than spinning around looking for parking.
So then would parking fees make you visit downtown more often, less often, or the same?
I think if there were parking fees, I probably wouldn't park like ever. Because I live pretty close. Maybe if like the fees were really, really small and there were more spots open, possibly. But I think more likely I would just not park.
And then, if paid parking is introduced, what hourly rate would you consider reasonable?
Hourly rate, maybe like, I really don't want to pay anything. Maybe like 50 cents. So like $1 max. Yeah.
Okay. And then, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision on the proposition?
I think they need to consider the current parking situation. Just the fact that there's not many spots in general, and what exactly are they trying to do with parking fees? Are they trying to raise more revenue for the city, or are they trying to decrease congestion? I guess those are probably things that I would want to know as someone who lives here. In general, I think the situation is not great. So maybe it's nice that they're trying something different, but I don't know if fees in general are the right way to go. Because again, no one wants to pay extra money.
How should the parking revenue be used for parking improvements, support for downtown businesses, public transportation, or something else?
Well, it definitely should be, included or reamped into the city, I would say, or, core businesses, to kind of publicly push off, help people in the community to, continuously bring in more revenue, right? And I think using revenue for such means should be used accordingly and not appropriated to, random nonsense that we don't know where the money's going.
Do you think parking fees would make it easier, harder, or have no effect on finding parking downtown?
I think that's kind of a difficult question to begin with because parking in general, depending on how much space there is, right? I would hope that it makes things easier, but truth be told, I don't know if that's really gonna make a difference.
Right. And then, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making it a final decision?
First be considerate of what the price point would be. Does it make sense based on the limited amount of space that we have? I was driving here, I made 4 or 5 loops around Broadway before I found parking in a residential area. But even then, I guess, first scope out space. Is it reasonable to be charging, whatever dollar value? And then, I don't know, just, I guess the final thing I would say is maybe just, would it make traffic congestion better? Yeah, those are a couple of the things I can just think off the top of my head.
You live, work, own a business, or regularly shop in downtown Millbrae?
Yes, I live in Millbrae and I shop in downtown.
Currently, how difficult is it for you to find parking downtown?
Not really. Only on Saturday when the farmer's market and it's at 12 o'clock, it's hard to find parking. At noon on Saturdays.
And if paid parking is introduced, what hourly rate would you consider reasonable?
Oh, I think same thing as Burlingame, I guess. I don't know what that going rate is, but not as high as San Francisco.
What do you see as the biggest potential benefit and biggest concern about paid parking downtown?
If I'm getting paid, I hope that it goes back into the community. I don't want it to, I want to know where the parking, where the money's going to. So that would be, that's when I would be willing to pay for it, if it's going back into the community and if I know where the money's going to.
Biggest concern?
I don't have any really concern about it. I don't mind paying for it as long as it's being used, utilizing it for a good cause.
And finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
I don't know. It's getting a vote. I'm really concerned with all these new apartments being built around here and the traffic that it's going to cause and congestions. I feel like there's too many apartments already right now. And I just keep seeing more apartments being built. So I am concerned with my kids are just done with school, but I'm concerned with the school district, with the traffic jam that is going to happen, with the increase of apartments being built. And I like to see more retails versus apartments here.
Well, that's it. Thank you. How often do you visit downtown Millbrae?
When I am to buy, vegetables or milk or to buy groceries and maybe to a small walk.
If paid parking is introduced, what hourly rate would you consider reasonable?
No, I'm happy it's free, for free. But it will be to pay reasonable, like $1 for 1 hour. It's reasonable. not more than this.
And how do you think the parking revenue should be used for parking improvements, support for downtown businesses, public transportation, street maintenance, or something else?
Street maintenance, because it needs lots of maintenance.
And finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision on this proposal?
Maybe ask ask people who lives here. My daughter lives here, so maybe ask all the residents by email or by papers or something, and make decision according to the majority. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it. How often do you visit downtown Millbrae?
I just moved back in the area, so I've been back in here for less than 24 hours, and here I am. So it's every day, I guess I would say, because I have to walk to the BART station, so I'd come through here every day. I live right by the police station.
Would parking fees make you visit downtown more often, less often, or about the same?
Well, considering I can walk here, I guess it would be about the same.
What do you see as the biggest potential benefit and biggest concern about paid parking downtown?
I would think the benefit would be there'd be more for the community, more for them to do things for the city, the actual town. The unbenefit would be for people that are so used to living here and don't have to pay for parking. It's a luxury when you come from a bigger city and everywhere you park, you have to pay for parking. So I guess that would be the downside. People being so used to not having to pay for parking because it's a smaller city opposed to a bigger city.
Right. And then how do you think the parking revenue should be used? For parking improvements, support for downtown businesses, public transportation, street maintenance, or something else?
Something else. Something like for the community, like maybe another type of community, something for the kids to keep them out of trouble, maybe a job employment center or something literally for the community, not technically for the public, but if it's being added for the residents that live here, you know what I mean? It's an inconvenience would be for residents that live here that are used to not having to pay for parking. So I would say something that would benefit the people that live in the area.
And then finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
The people that live in the city.
Do you live, work, own a business, or regularly shop in downtown Millbrae?
I don't work but I live in San Bruno, but I come here to shop at Trader Joe's and Safeway and all that.
Do you think parking fees would make it easier, harder, or have no effect on finding parking downtown?
No fact. Yeah, people are gonna find parking. They can park on the on the streets, or they can park in the neighborhood.
And if paid parking is introduced, what hourly rate would you consider reasonable?
I would figure like maybe $5 for 10 hours.
Wow. And then how do you think the parking revenue be used for parking improvements, support for downtown businesses, public transportation, street maintenance, or something else?
Well, that's going to be difficult because people, they might, you want to be on TV? Because people, they might, they interrupt me. So, people might park their car here all day and then jump on BART. Yeah, so that's going to be difficult.
And finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
To get in touch with me, Georgia Jackson.
Well, that's it. Thank you. How often do you visit downtown Millbrae?
Once or twice a week.
And how difficult is it for you to find parking here?
It's not difficult.
So would parking fees make you visit downtown more often, less often, or about the same amount?
About the same.
And how do you think this parking revenue should be used? For parking improvements, support for downtown businesses, public transportation, street maintenance, or something else?
All the above.
What do you see as the biggest potential benefit and biggest concern about paid parking downtown?
Well, I guess not everybody can afford it, so it's a financial thing, economic.
And lastly, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
Well, I mean, I understand why they're doing it because the tax base has probably shrunk, you know. And but what do I want them to consider? The affordability aspect, and yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. It's just, you know, if people can afford it or not. It's a hard times economically for a lot of people, you know. So really, just it's about the money. It's always about the money. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's it. Thank you. You live, work, own a business, or regularly shop in downtown Millbrae?
I don't shop and I don't work here, but I do go to like Safeway casually.
And is it difficult for you to find parking downtown if you drive?
It is hard to find parking. I feel like on a busy day, like you have to park like farther down, but yeah.
So if paid parking's introduced, what hourly rate do you think would be reasonable?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like as a driver, I wouldn't want to pay a lot, but I feel like it is good because then there would be like parking spots that are open. So I feel like a reasonable amount would be probably, I don't know, some like cents, I feel like, per hour.
What do you see as the biggest potential benefit and biggest concern about paid parking downtown?
I feel like the prices would be like, if it's like a weird amount or like if it's too much, then I feel like a lot of people won't pay, and then that makes like the city like, I don't know. Like I think just like how they price it, I feel like was the difference.
And finally, what would you want the Millbrae City Council to consider before making a final decision?
I think they're doing a good job or whatever they're doing, and I think that whatever they do, I'm gonna stand by it because I am a resident of Millbrae.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you.